Tonight, anywhere, anytime, Niall Blair challenges Labor to a debate over the Darling River crisis and calls for passenger train services to be reinstated in the Spencer Gulf.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf studios, your nightly news with Louise Hedger begins now.
Good evening. New South Wales Water Minister Niall Blair is challenging the state's shadow water minister to a water debate following the Darling River crisis. Minister Blair says Labor's 6-point water policy released last week was hastily conceived.
A political debate on a key state election topic.
Let's move aside the hysteria. Let's move aside the shouting and let's actually talk about policy.
During New South Wales Labor leader Michael Daly's visit to the Far West last week, he announced the opposition had a 6-point plan for restoring the Darling River. Among the promises, a commission into alleged mismanagement of the river system and stronger policing of compliance. Soon after, Minister Blair hit back.
Well, Niall Blair issued a media release making a whole bunch of events unsubstantiated and claims that are not based with any footnotes or any factual evidence as far as I can see. And within that media release, he challenged myself to a debate any place, any time.
Mr Minns says it should be held in either Menindee or Broken Hill, claiming they're at the epicentre of the National's disastrous mismanagement of the water. Mr Blair says bring it on.
I'm happy to do that. And again, it's about making sure that we put the alternate policies out there for everyone to ask the questions and to provide a clear option for the people of New South Wales when they go to the polls in March.
While no date or venue has been penciled in, reaction to the idea has been positive.
Let's give the people what they want, an open debate about water in an open public forum with questions from the floor. That should be the only way we should conduct a water debate.
Provide everyone the opportunity to hear what both sides of politics stand for.
Patrick Ryankey, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A 22-year-old woman is in custody after allegedly stabbing a man in Port Augusta in the early hours of this morning. The alleged incident occurred on Stokes Terrace in Port Augusta West. Police and paramedics were called to the scene just before 1 a.m. to find a man with minor stab wounds to his neck and shoulder. He was taken to hospital for treatment. The woman from the far north is understood to be known to the victim and was charged with aggravated assault. If you require domestic violence support, you can call 1-800-RESPECT or Lifeline on 131114. A 32-year-old Port Pirie man has been charged with theft and assault after allegedly spitting at a police officer. The man was located by patrols on the terrace on Sunday morning where he was allegedly in an altercation. After efforts to calm him were unsuccessful, capsicum spray was used. Further inquiries revealed he was wanted in relation to a theft from a local liquor store. The man fronted the Port Pirie Magistrates Court yesterday where he was remanded in custody to appear at a later date. While many of us swelter through another week of hot weather, spare a thought for our furry friends. The Broken Hill RSPCA says summer can be a tough time for our beloved pets and want to make sure they also beat the heat.
As Broken Hill and the Spencer Gulf tackle another heatwave this week, our 4-legged friends will be right by our side. When it comes to dogs like Ruby the Greyhound here, one of many up for adoption, there's a number of ways to keep them cool.
A wet towel on a flat floor because they can actually get on top of the towel to cool themselves down because the coolness comes up. Supply them with plenty of water. Make sure that they're not staying outside in the extremes.
Walking dogs is also a big no-no, unless it's early in the morning or late in the evening.
If you try and walk on the footpath with no shoes on, that's exactly what you're asking your dog to do, which is extremely hot.
And let's not forget about the cats. The heat can be very testing on them. If you spot them panting, it's a strong sign they're struggling with the heat. Debbie says some of the ways to beat the heat with dogs can be used for the felines.
Or with your cat, place it in your bathroom area because that's the coolest part other than an air-conditioned area, that they will cool down quite quickly.
Broken Hill RSPCA welcomes any questions pet owners may have.
We can give out any sort of recommendations that they would like, and it's for every animal because, you know, people have pet mice, pet rats, guinea and guinea pigs and rabbits do suffer extremely from heat too. Just make sure that you cover everything.
Patrick Royenke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Neon Energy has issued a written response aiming to counter negative public reactions regarding the company's proposed Crystal Brook renewable energy plant. Controversy surrounds the $65 million project, which will house the second biggest turbines in the world.
For the residents of Crystal Brook, building a clean future might not be as clear-cut. The proposed construction of 26 wind turbines in the town's outskirts has divided the community.
There is a large number of people in Crystal Brook who are totally against the wind turbines being placed on the Southern Flinders Ranges.
Responding is French energy giant Neon, publishing an 84-page document which addresses the concerns raised at the 2018 State Commission Assessment Panel, stating the effect, if any, experienced by the vast majority of the 2,000 residencies is likely to be small enough to have no visible impact. Retired police officer Jerry Nicholson isn't having a bar of it.
Out of 250 people that fronted up to that commission, there were only 15 that were actually pro having the wind turbines go ahead.
From Jerry's hillside house, he can see the Port Pirie smelter, which is more than 30 kilometres away. He's concerned the turbines, which will be even taller and constructed at a higher altitude, will be visible.
It was cheating. They're playing outside the rules.
When driving around the town's outskirts, the message is clear. This subdivision on the outskirts of Crystal Brook is partially on hold, with many families being apprehensive about building until they know what's happening with the wind farm. With the state experiencing some of the hottest days on record, the need for renewables to counter global warming is a sure thing. Yet where to build remains a challenge. Dominic Beaton, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Whyalla has warmly welcomed its latest round of medical students from Adelaide University. They'll spend a full year in the region, and it's hoped the temporary placement will convince them to undertake a full-time career in regional medicine.
Fresh from Adelaide Uni's city campus, these 8 fifth-year medical students are taking on their biggest challenge yet. They're spending a full year in our region, getting a taste of practicing in country areas. They'll undertake numerous placements, ranging from hospital emergency departments right through to community clinics.
Those fifth-year students, they live, work and train in this area for the whole year. It's a most wonderful experience for them.
Another 34 are also spread across the region. Whyalla's batch were given an official welcome to the city at a function last night.
I want to thank the community of Whyalla and Northern and Eyre Peninsulas for being so welcoming to the Adelaide Rural Clinical School students.
As well as offering opportunity today, the program is aimed at getting students thinking about tomorrow, with country areas in desperate need of a new generation of medical professionals. It's hoped this experience will linger in their minds.
We know that this medical student training is the start, the foundation for then the future training.
Jennifer Hughes and Darcy Knoll, himself originally from Port Augusta, both jumped at the opportunity for extra hands-on experience. Both are passionate about rural medicine and are considering making it their career choice.
I want to practice in the country in the future is because I know how hard it can be to get medical care, particularly specialist medical care.
I love the community vibe here in Whyalla. I think definitely including rural care as part of my career would be fantastic.
John Hunt, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, a lobby group calls for the return of passenger rail services in our region. And we take a sneak peek at what's in store for Tunarama 2019. Welcome back. Regional groups are calling for the reinstatement of a Spencer Gulf public railway network. Whyalla's population is soon anticipated to balloon to 80,000 people, and the groups say additional transport infrastructure will be crucial in the not-too-distant future.
All aboard the Spencer Express. With an anticipated population boom in the region, railway lobby groups are pressing the government to set their wheels in motion and return the public network.
The line from Adelaide to Whyalla is already there, it's already running. It would cost minimal.
Reinstating a train system for the public will also take pressure off the Augusta Highway, one of the most used stretches of road in the state. In the past, shuttle services commuted through Port Pirie, Port Augusta and Whyalla.
The last train that went to Whyalla was a special chartered service. It was by the Bluebird Railcars.
The last service was offered in 2001. Since then, the train lines have remained open to freight and the Ghan. Not long ago, passengers could catch the train to Port Augusta for under $80. That service is no longer offered and today's trip will set you back more than $1,000. And for people suffering from medical conditions and age constraints, catching a train could be the only feasible option.
Without a rail service to Whyalla, then basically they are being isolated to these country towns and not being able to move around the state freely.
The South Australian Regional Rail Alliance is pushing the agenda on both the Marshall government and the state opposition. So far, their lobbying has fallen on deaf ears. Dominic Beaton, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Tens of thousands of visitors are set to flock to Port Lincoln this Australia Day long weekend for the annual Tunarama Festival. Crowds can expect all the usual highlights like the tuna toss, but this year there's been a few changes to the schedule.
We're just days away from the iconic festival that puts Port Lincoln on the international map.
We're now in our 58th year and the Tunarama Festival has been voted one of the top 7 festivals in the world.
The festival is expected to see 25,000 spectators and competitors flood through the gates. This year there's been a few changes, including the crowning of this year's Tunarama Quest Ambassador, set for the public stage on Friday night.
There's a VIP Gala Quest event on. It's all about cabaret and we'll be celebrating the crowning of the ambassador.
And a new night for the fireworks display.
Traditionally the fireworks have always been about the celebration of the crowning of the ambassador, but because we're doing that on the Friday night this year, we're now changing the fireworks to the Sunday night, which will close the festival.
The popular parade is expected to host more than 65 floats this year, but of course it wouldn't be Tunarama without the famed tuna toss.
The tuna toss is a world-renowned event and we're known globally for it.
And the conditions are set to be perfect for everyone to enjoy all the entertainment hosted here on the foreshore. This week's Cool Change is expected Thursday evening, just in time for the official opening that night, with mid to high 20s, the expected forecast for the duration of the festival. Casey Treloar, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
With the long weekend approaching, those looking to cast a line are being reminded of the rules and regulations. The state government says anglers should revisit the state's fishing laws, which covers bag and catch size limits, boating laws, safety regulations and marine park zones. Fisheries Minister Tim Wetson says those who are caught can expect to be punished. He's also encouraging us to consider fishing for alternative catches in order to protect the population of certain species. All the rules and regulations can be found online on the Primary Industries website. Member for Barwon, Kevin Humphreys, will visit the Broken Hill region later this week and is expected to bring his chequebook. Mr Humphreys will be making a funding announcement on Thursday morning in the Silver City. It's understood he will be giving Broken Hill City Council a 7-figure sum when he meets with them at 10 o'clock. He will also venture out to Wilcannia during his time in the Far West. It will be the first time Mr Humphreys has visited the region this year. A date has been set for the demolishment of Port Augusta's 130-year-old jetty, with the structure set to be removed in just a few weeks' time. The operation should take 3 weeks and is expected to cause disruptions to local boat users.
It's held firm in the sand for over 130 years, but in 3 weeks' time, the Eastside jetty will be torn down.
The council's made the decision now to remove the jetty.
A motion was passed in May last year for its demolition. The council has now engaged Davey Hydraulics on the York Peninsula to undertake the works, which will begin on February the 5th. A floating plant with tow vessels and barges will assist underwater divers in the operation.
A barge and a tow barge will come and tow across the water and remove the timbers and tow them back.
Although not all will be lost, with plans to use the tattered timber for projects in the town. The first 3.5 metres of the jetty will also be retained, as a nod to the structure's rich history.
It would be fenced off, but it could be similar to a viewing platform, so you can still go out there and experience what it would have been like.
But for boaties, the removal could cause disruptions, with temporary closures of the western boat ramp planned throughout the duration of the 3-week operation.
Could be some intermittent interference, but it won't be prolonged, and it'll only be one side of the ramp, so they'll still be able to use the other side.
The clearance of the jetty is just the first step in Council's plans for a revamped foreshore area.
Hopefully what will occur here, we can remove what's here now and open up our foreshore and start a new era.
Garth Burley, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us. After the break, we'll have all the weekend sporting results and we meet the 2019 Port Lincoln Citizen of the Year. Welcome back. Australia Day is just around the corner and we're starting to find out who will be crowned our region's newest Citizens of the Year. In Port Lincoln, we caught up with artist Karen Carr and the team behind the winning community event.
A showcase of art and the community. That's the significant theme highlighted from the winners of this year's Australia Day Citizen Awards. Citizen of the Year going to local community artist Karen Carr, and Community Event of the Year going to the Rotary Men's Wellness Campaign with Mentally Fit EP.
Very much a surprise, and it makes me feel very humble but also really proud, because both of these awards for Mentally Fit EP and for me really recognise the strength of arts as a community connector, so that's exciting.
Karen is known for her vast array of public art projects splashed around the community, but more importantly for working with locals to create true masterpieces like the fish mural on the side of the Drake supermarket.
That was such a fun project because so many people came together to be involved in that, and that's the thing about community art. There's public art, but then there's community art.
For local mental health organisation Mentally Fit EP, they were thrilled their exhibition with local photographer Rob Lang was recognised, and even prouder that their years of hard work is paying off for the community.
It's working because we're getting contacted by men and asking for extra support, whether that be helpline numbers or where to go, and that's really great, and that was the whole point of it.
Both winners will receive their awards at the Port Lincoln Australia Day celebrations on Saturday. Casey Trelaw, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Now time for a wrap of the weekend sporting action. Garth Burley is in Port Augusta, and Garth, a very close game in this week's round of Port Augusta basketball.
Yes, it was, Louise. The battle between second and third was a close one. A thrilling finish, seeing the second place Eagles edging out the Titans by just 4 points. In the other match, Wildcats solidified their position at the top of the ladder, beating the Cobras by 37 points. This will put them in a good position for next week's clash with Titans. Port Lincoln, Whyalla and Port Pirie basketballers are still enjoying holiday breaks and will return later this month. In Whyalla softball, Eagles beat the Indians by 5 runs. Tigers belted 15 runs to defeat Roadrunners, and in the seniors baseball, Roadrunners got the better of Tigers. In Lincoln, the Eagles put on a clinical display in the field, restricting the Shields to only 1 run from all their innings and setting up the victory by 8 runs. While in the other match, Roadrunners came away with the points, despite a textbook double play from Squaws in the middle of the match. In Port Pirie, 5 runs to Cats in their first innings set up a tight win against Checkmates. Cats held only a 1-run lead heading into the nail-biting final innings, but did enough to secure victory. The other match between Tigers and Cougars had to be abandoned after an ambulance was called to treat a player. Staying in Pirie for tennis, and Risdon Uniting Blues smashed Port Pirie, winning 6 sets to love. Trinity Red did the same against Risdon Uniting Green, who only managed to claim 2 games in their matches. And in the final match, Trinity Gold continued their success on court, defeating Railways. So that's all for another week. Not as much action around the region, as many sports are still waiting to recommence after the festive season. And remember, if you have local sports results that you like featured here on 7 Spencer Gulf News, drop us a line with your results at localsport@sea.com.au. Back to you, Louise.
Coming up after the break, we take a look at the weather with Britt. Welcome back. Here's all the weather details with Britt Aylan.
Well, Louise, it's been another hot and mostly sunny day, with maximum temperatures up to 11 degrees above average. Port Augusta reached a top of 43, Whyalla 37, Port Lincoln 32, Broken Hill 42 and 40 the top for Port Pirie. The satellite shows patchy high cloud over the Gulf, with a jet stream not producing any rain. A low pressure system is moving south of South Australia with an associated trough due to come our way tomorrow and Friday. South to southwesterly winds on the waters tomorrow at up to 20 knots, swells south-southwesterly to 1 metre. And the sun will be up at 6:30 with sunset just after 8:30. And it will be another hot and dry day tomorrow. Port Augusta 44, 42 the top for Broken Hill and Woodner, 41 for Port Pirie, Whyalla 39, Port Lincoln 32. To the 4-day forecast now, and showers are on the way. Port Lincoln fine and 44 on Thursday, showers and 27 Friday and Saturday. Cleve 45 on Thursday, down to 32 on Friday, with showers continuing through to Saturday. Woodner 47 on Thursday, cooling down Friday and Saturday with maximums in the early 30s. 45 the top for Whyalla on Thursday, fine and 33 on Friday, showers and 29 to kick off the weekend. Port Augusta 47 on Thursday, down to 38 on Friday and dropping further on Saturday, 31 and showers. Kadina sunny and 45 on Thursday, fine on Friday before a showery Saturday. Port Pirie 46 on Thursday, but the maximum drops more than 10 degrees on Friday and then more showers on Saturday. Clare with a sunny 43 on Thursday, Friday 34, Saturday showers and 31. Sunny and 45 in Broken Hill on Thursday, with temperatures remaining in the 40s to close the week. So Louise, relief is on its way, with that cool change bringing showers at the end of the week. Back to you.
I'm sure those showers will be warmly welcomed, Britt. Thank you for that. That's your local news for this Tuesday evening. We thank you for your company. We'll have updates later, but until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.